yo kola fana ka droba go di mola karta ne lulni ya kola di droba go yalo wala la kamal munto mul bera ni jere 5 pound ne bata kan wato mta fram mta tongo tongo mi taw ita kata fela kan nagi wa ni be jongo ren ba so sa sto e jongo mas abla ja
Welcome back. Authorities in Cameroon have intensified efforts at reducing the threat posed by poachers on the country's dwindling elephant population. Elephant poaching has become a worrying issue for authorities in Cameroon as more and more elephants fall victim to the desperate actions of ivory hunters. In a bid to combat this threat, the government in Yaoundé has drafted in the army to help protect the endangered species from poachers. We have details of that story in this report.
Elephant tusks were seized 7 months ago by Cameroonian custom officials in Lambé, 50 kilometers from Douala. They were going to be sent to Nigeria in this boat. Across Central Africa, elephants are massacred for their ivory. And the rebellion in the Central African Republic makes poaching easier.
Many of the rebels are poachers, and they take advantage of the rebellion to poach. They can do it freely because there are no threats, no constraints, nothing can stop them.
In Cameroon, hundreds of elephants are killed every month in national parks by poachers from the neighboring Sudans.
These poachers come from Sudan and South Sudan. They come every year in the dry season. They are extremely well armed. They have paramilitary training. They are armed with rocket launchers and with light weapons like AK-47s. They are the real killers of the elephants.
In a meeting in Yaoundé in March, the Economic Community of Central African States decided to unify their efforts to fight against poaching.
The purpose of this 3-day meeting is to organize a coordinated military response between the 3 countries concerned with this problem before the Sudanese go back home at the end of the dry season. That is, within the next 2 months.
The former Cameroonian footballer, Patrick Boma, was designated to inform people of the urgency of this plan. To fight poaching in national parks, elephants are now protected by armed park rangers who are backed by state military forces. The operation cost 125 million CFA francs, or almost 2 million euros.
Fighters of the Free Syrian Army say they have captured an important Air Force base in the province of Dera. The advance by the FSA came following 3 days of intense fighting between Syrian government forces and rebel fighters for control of the strategic Air Force base, which houses the 49th Brigade of the Syrian Army. Meantime, embattled Syrian President Bashar al-Assad has warned those plotting to unseat him to worry about the consequences of a post-Assad Syria. We have more on that in this report.
Fighting, the Free Syrian Army captured a former Air Force station, the 49th Brigade, in the town of Hirbit Hazaleh in the southern province of Dera. The rebels broadcast images of the site showing burnt-out bunkers and destroyed military vehicles. After intense fighting, the rebels were finally able to enter the brigade on Thursday.
With the grace of God, we have been able to free the brigade through the work of the heroes of the Free Syrian Army.
Bashar al-Assad's regime continues to launch missile strikes to stop rebel advances, like here in the northern Damascus suburb, Marzeh. The missile strikes have caused severe damage and left many dead. Bashar al-Assad continues to condemn what he calls an international conspiracy against his regime. In an interview on Turkish television earlier this week, he said there would be a domino effect on other countries if his regime were to fall, which would create instability for years to come.
We are surrounded by a group of countries that help terrorists and allow them to enter Syria. Turkey's government officially harbors terrorists and sends them into Syria. They're also crossing over from Jordan.
Although Assad's regime still has the support of Iran and Russia, China seems to be taking its distance. Beijing says it does not support any side in the conflict.
The Chinese government shares the same view with Qatar, Saudi Arabia and Bahrain, that we will firmly enhance our cooperative partnership regardless of changes in regional and international situations.
The United Nations says that over 70,000 people have been killed in the conflict, which is now in its second year.
Authorities in the Chinese city of Shanghai have ordered the culling of over 20,000 birds following the discovery of the contagious bird flu virus in the area. A temporal ban has been imposed on the sale of birds in Shanghai since the outbreak of the virus, and thousands of demonstrators have gathered in Buenos Aires to express their dissatisfaction with the response of local authorities to the flash floods that battered much of the province. We have more on those stories and others in this news roundup.
Has temporarily banned the sale of live poultry to prevent the spread of bird flu. The H7N9 virus has caused the death of 6 people, 4 in Shanghai. The virus, not previously seen in humans, was discovered in pigeons and has led authorities to order the slaughter of 20,000 birds sold in Shanghai's markets. Taiwan has also reported 12 suspected cases. The World Health Organization says there is no evidence of human-to-human transmission. Two days after flash floods killed 57 people in the province of Buenos Aires, authorities in Argentina are being criticized for their lack of preparedness. Demonstrations are being held to demand food aid and financial compensation. Up to 100,000 homes were destroyed in the floods. Volunteer groups have been set up to deliver food and drinking water to thousands of people. President Cristina Fernandez has promised to provide emergency aid as soon as possible. TEPCO, the company managing the Fukushima nuclear plant in Japan, says that around 120 tons of radioactive water have seeped into the soil between a damaged reservoir and the surrounding protective shell. Repairs began on Saturday. Earlier this week, the plant's cooling system failed, prompting a 3-hour shutdown, the second shutdown this month. Authorities say that the plant, damaged in the 2011 earthquake and tsunami, is now stable, but that years of work lie ahead before the effects of the disaster are contained. 72 people have been confirmed dead following the collapse on Thursday of an apartment building in Mumbai. More than 100 people were rescued. Witnesses said the 7-story building, which was inhabited although still under construction, collapsed within seconds. A municipal commissioner and a senior police officer have been suspended for collusion with the builders, 2 of whom are being sought by police. One resident said the building was only supposed to be 4 stories, but that floors continued to be added. Building collapses are frequent in India and are blamed on poor construction practices caused by a rising demand for housing.
We'll be back with the sports news after this break.
Nene Aissatou
na
inje sikuro sumbo si bane Aissatou si haja subo dinje jup sikuro si bamban Aissatou njomma ni pension njomba wono buna de baye sikuro
Khalifa muna mangi sese security ko baka chama bukana kan mam kan ku pension ba chama boli di ba chama lan kina man ku kan jugo tunje boli pour les so security mi ba chama lan kina ni ko ma yabi mana rege furma fu buro
nene ko ne rege Khalifa ko mon Aissatou wana rege nyam malage injano joge ranya social security fando do ne mom brokap mo kam ko ne anon sani anon manje anuro rok man tu pension won nu jow yap ba chama boli finci ko be sene wan ku regam drawback ba chama lankenam pan ku chami weringe kulen ko ne bu tinken bolemuk banja rino mo chamo de tendi tok banja finci fop ku benen ba chama ba di social security oto tok ja aw nu kanka nana nu manje nuro rok man tu pension jow yap ba chama boli le ko jubo fam bala jo sagre joni ma mati nene nuju wala social security ku jala jaka yolen bu kanak de
aw fufu say keneri nje
Welcome back. Bundesliga giants Bayern Munich are the new champions of German football following a routine 1-0 win over Eintracht Frankfurt Bastian Schweinsteiger scored the all-important winner to give the Bavarians a sound lead at the top of the league with 6 games to go.